Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Let's talk about Tilray Brands Incorporated, TLRY. This is one that I definitely want on your watch list if it revisits that 315 area. I haven't talked about Tilray in quite some time, but I like to do a comparison between this and SNDL. I really like both of those companies for cannabis plays just due to the transformation that both of these companies are taking and how they're really taking advantage of the consumer product space. So they're getting a little bit away from cannabis, but when it comes to regulatory approval and who really has the advantage, even though they've lost a little bit of market share on the cannabis side, they still have some massive numbers that make up their revenue when it comes to cannabis, and they are strategically better positioned in the global economy, I would say, with Germany to take advantage of that, with Portugal, and also with North America. With MedMen, I think they've made some strategic moves that really make them competitive in the market. Now, the last 6 months, this price volatility has just been absolutely flat and sideways. You could see down here at 315, I have a green line, and this line is where I would put definitely a marker to say, hey, I want you to alert me on TradingView if this happens to break through that or touch it, because you can see how many times it has revisited that. I don't believe you have to rush in and spend any money in this market with the way the Fed raised his interest rate hikes over these last few months. I mean, we had 4 consecutive 75 basis point rate hikes. We're at 4%, and I believe that that is a lot for a very short period of time, and I'm not sure that the markets have filled everything yet. So I think you need to be greedy with your money, but any progress legislatively, I mean, there's a lot of money on the sidelines waiting to invest, I believe, and they could come in and take advantage of this. So you definitely want to make sure that you're looking at this time frame here and looking for opportunities to add low, because Tilray's stock price has never been crushed to the extent that it is now. And there's a number of reasons that it's down, especially these last 2 quarters and the way that it turned out. But I do like the way this chart looks as far as the RSI indicator. Each time it has visited on the daily chart the 30. It's gotten close to it. These have been buying opportunities, so keep an eye on that. Obviously, it's elevated and looked like it wanted to go back into an uptrend after this latest earnings. I think it has to revisit this line again, but we'll have to see if the Fed actually pivots and what else happens. There's lots more I want to talk about. Let's get straight into it. Export countries. I know most of you have already seen this map. You know, if you're interested in Tilray Brands, I mean, do you want to be part of a company that actually has a footprint that's ready to respond if there is a massive growth opportunity as far as Germany? And I think they're best positioned, and they talked a lot about this. There was a lot of interest in Tilray by the analysts in their last earnings call. Now let's take a look at their business, because there's 4 reportable business segments, and they have, like I was talking about before, they've been crafting their business and craft, talking about craft beers. The beverage and alcohol business, you've seen SNDL do the same thing with the purchase of Alcana. I thought that was a big game changer for them. I think that they need to have their business operate a little bit better with better gross margins. But I mean, their beverage and alcohol business for Tilray is operating at about a 55% gross margin. And you can see year over year, total percentage of revenue, this continues to grow. It's about 20% of their total revenue, and it was only about 6% previous. So we do see this wellness portion of the business and also this beverage alcohol portion of the business really starting to grow. And they even talked about during this last earnings call how their Sweetwater brand portion of the business moved in to California, which, I mean, the market size for California and in the United States, it's pretty massive. So that's a big move for the company. Now, if we take a look at the international cannabis products and wholesale adult use, medical use, you can see, I mean, these aren't numbers to play with. If you're looking for someone that is producing big numbers for cannabis market, and of course, you know, percentage of total revenue, we've seen these numbers go down and fluctuate and switch into different categories. I mean, international markets are growing, and we can see that the adult cannabis products, you know, are getting smaller. But this would be international numbers, seeing that growing. I think that that's a strength and only leans toward what is possible in the future, especially if they open the doors in the US and in Germany. I think Tilray is very well positioned to take advantage. Now, we've got a price to sales trailing 12 months. It's been sitting stable right there at about the 3 mark. We know Tilray is sitting at about SNDL is sitting at about 1.5. This is Tilray's numbers here. This consumer products portion of the business is something that's growing. And you can see this article that came out yesterday. The world's largest cannabis companies are gobbling up beer brands and striking deals with top athletes such as Hawk energy drinks because they're struggling to profit off of pot. Now, down here, it does tell you that this is not only talking about Tilray Company, but it's also talking about Canopy Growth. Now, down here, it's showing in early November that they did another acquisition from a New York craft beer brewer. And we know about Breckenridge, and they continue to find opportunities to acquire companies. Sweetwater, very strong branding. You can see it here. They've got about 66,000 followers, as you can see from their Twitter page. And down here, they only have for Tilray brands about 33,000 followers, but half of that for SNDL. So, I mean, do you want to follow this company and take advantage of it at these prices? Because, I mean, is SNDL really going to pass Tilray, or do they both have an opportunity in the market? I mean, there's still going to be market consolidation. If you listen to the way that each of these leaders are talking, they're expecting massive consolidation, and we don't know who's going to win, but both companies look very strong. We've got the health minister making progress with Germany, but Germany's plan to legalize recreational marijuana hits some hurdles, and this is something that I expect to continue to see, and that's why some companies, especially like SNDL, are sitting back to wait for this to develop before they take action. But we know Tilray has already positioned themselves to take advantage of this much sooner. So regardless, if Tilray is positioning themselves to be stronger in these areas of wellness and beverage and alcohol, they've got a footprint in the US already. Who's the bigger market? Where do you make the bet? I mean, if I'm making the bet, I'm putting my money on Tilray. I would say a larger portion of my money I would put on Tilray. So let's just focus on Germany for just a moment. Cannabis could be sold in licensed shops and potentially also pharmacies, while advertising would be banned. A lot of the same laws that we're seeing, because they're mimicking a lot of things that they've seen in Canada and the US. To avoid international legal friction, importing cannabis would be prohibited. But down here, it does say the ban on importing weed, for instance, is almost certain to be challenged, and the demand of 400 tons of weed at home would just leave a lot of illegal sellers that they don't want to have access to this and be selling. I mean, that's what they want to avoid. The government wants to avoid that. So what exactly is going to happen? What's happening right now? Germany remains the largest medical cannabis market in Europe and emerges as one of the largest adult use markets upon legalization. Now, we, as in Tilray, are already the market leader in medical cannabis, leading both the whole flower extract product categories in Germany, and they have approximately, according to this data insight. And another thing that I really like about Tilray is they talk about the use of data, that they make data-driven decisions. They have approximately a 20% market share across their segments here that you see. And it says today we have a leading and the broadest portfolio of medical cannabis and whole flower, one of the most recognizable brands in Germany in that market. They're ramping up their facility and 2 state-of-the-art facilities, the EU GMP facilities, both Portugal and Germany. They're just ready to flip the light switch on if that happens. In the draft bill, they already talked about this. We covered it before. We'll have to see what happens with that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that gives you a pulse to really keep Tilray on your watch list. That's all I got. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.